Hey guys, Reginald here, back today with my updated deck profile for Traptrix. It has just had the new support in the structure deck which came out today, so I rushed out and bought it. It is really good support. Adds a lot of new layers, got a new field spell, got a new hole that you can activate in your first turn to trigger like the Sarah, so really cool. With it being brand new, this might not be the perfect deck list, but it is a deck list that I do quite like. I've been testing it all morning, it is very consistent, so let's get into it. So firstly, we've got 3 copies of the new one, Traptrix Pudica. So this, when it's summoned, allows you to add the field spell. That's the main effect, but it does also have an additional effect. So I can add the field spell. If it's special summoned, I can banish a special summoned monster. That's it. My opponent controls then sort of like a Farfel, but then they can bring back a special summoned monster. So like a Farfel, but they get to choose what comes back. So really cool. Adds a lot of consistency because the field spell is really good. 3 copies of Traptrix Mantis. The main effect is that it searches a Traptrix monster when it's normal summoned, and then it can like bounce stuff back to set stuff. But I mean, that never really comes up for me. 3 copies of Traptrix Mamelio. This is still one of the best ones. When it's normal summoned, you can search a whole normal trap card. Then if it's special summoned, you can destroy and spell a trap your opponent controls. So even if your opponent doesn't control a spell or trap, it still activates because it is mandatory. So you can use this to trigger Sarah all of the time, basically. So really good card. 2 of the new Arachno Camper. So this one, it is an extender basically. So they're all unaffected by whole traps, just like usual. The first time each set card in your spell and trap card zone will be destroyed by card effect each turn, it's not destroyed. During the main phase, if you control a Traptrix monster quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except insect or plant monsters. So this is the one that locks you into insects or plants. It's still good because it is like a free extender and it doesn't cost you anything like the Vesiculo, but you only want to play 2 because you can search it. So it's really cool, I do like it. But just summon all your non-insect or plants before you use this. That just locks you out of the extra deck though. 1 copy of Dionea. So when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a Traptrix monster from graves, which makes free rank 4. When it's special summoned, it sets a whole normal trap card from graveyard, and then it gets banished in your opponent's end phase. So again, really cool card. Just helps the trap that you can activate in your turn discards a whole card like a trap, so you can just set it back off this. So it's just free. Really good. I think you only need to play 1, but I've seen people playing 2 for the last Traptrix monster. Got 1 copy of Vesiculo. This is an extender similar to the Arachno Camper, but this one you send a set trap I control to the graveyard, special summon it from hand, and then if I control no cards in my back row, I can banish this card, set a whole normal trap to my field. So really cool, just a bit of recovery, but also an extender that doesn't lock you out of your extra deck for certain types. We are playing the 2 Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. I've not seen many people playing this, but I do quite like it. So when you activate a trap, you can summon it from hand, basically. And then when you activate a trap, you can chain it to that trap to then set a different trap from deck. So like you can set Dimensional Barrier, you can set like Compulsory Evacuation Device, because I'm playing it. So 2 copies. Also, while I control set traps, it can't be targeted or destroyed. So really strong card. Just gives you like a free stream of advantage, and if they don't out it, then you just win a lot of the time. Got 2 copies of Parallel Exceed. I did play 3, but I figured you get the same benefit from playing 2 and you get an extra slot for an extra trap or whatever, and it's just can be a bit bricky at 3. So basically when you link summon, you summon this from hand, it becomes level 4, then it summons another one from deck, it also becomes level 4. So it's just a free rank 4. And onto the spells, we're only playing 4, we've got 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Just really good. It's a bit awkward knowing what to banish because you do like having a lot of your extra deck. So if you've not bricked, you just go for 3 a lot of the time. Whereas if you've hard bricked, you just need to draw like reveal 6 because you need to see at least 1 Traptrix monster. It's a shame it conflicts with the new Traptrix draw spell because the draw spell is really good, but this is better. So we actually don't play the draw spell. And we've got 1 copy of Trap Trip Garden it is. so it's not a Traptrix, but it is searchable. Basically, the first monster I showed, I can't remember its name at the minute, it's brand new to me, is when it's summoned, you can search this. This gives you a few effects. The main one is an additional normal summon. It protects all my stuff from destruction by battle for once per turn, and then I can banish a monster I control, special summon Traptrix from hand or graveyard. So just when you've already used, banish it, summon back, like for example Diana, set a whole trap card. So really good. I am playing a lot of traps. I don't know how well this deck profile is going to age because the deck will be solved, but at the minute it isn't. So I'm playing 2 Holer Chewer, I think it is. This is insanely good. I love this card. So basically, you can activate it, you can activate it by discarding, and then you can play it the turn it's been set, basically. So discard a trap, flip this up. It summons as a trap monster, so it's the same as Shade Brigandine, but just discards a trap. But it is searchable because it has hole in the name, so you can search it off Mamelio. 2 copies of Floodgate Trap Hole. I really rate this card. So basically, your opponent summons and you just Book of Moon it and it can't be flipped back up. Does multiple as well, so if you like Pendulum Summon or summon 2 off an effect, just sets them both. Really good. Can't change the battle position. 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. Just when a monster that's been special summoned activates its effect, negate the effect and destroy it. Really good. 1 copy of Bottomless Trap Hole. When you summon something with 1500 or more attack, destroy then banish. So if it can't be destroyed, it doesn't get banished, but destroy then banish. I still like Bottomless, especially with it being searchable. 1 Gravediggers. Helps you play around Nibiru, negates stuff in the hand, the graveyard or the banished zone, and then they take 2000 damage. That's it for the trap hole cards, and I've just got a lot of good generic trap cards. So 3 copies of Phantom Knight Shade Brigandine, because this can be activated turn 1 as long as you don't have any traps engraved. You just set it, flip it up, that will trigger the Sarah, then you summon from deck off the Sarah, you can overlay. So it's really good. I still play 3 even though you've got the whole chewer, because you can just play both. I don't see an issue. Got 3 copies of Compulsory Evacuation Device. Again, this is a flex spot, but I'm playing a lot of traps. I know a lot of people are going towards like more combo stuff and trying to make like a big board, but I'm trying to play a more control variant, so 3 copies. I find like can out basically anything. Anything that can be targeted can be outed by this. Gets rid of Mirror Jade, no problem. Won't even get its effect. Gets rid of any of the Kashtira XYZs that can't be destroyed. Just return them to the hand. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I feel this card should have been included in the deck, if I'm honest. Like in the structure deck, because it is so important. Because it's just a great hand trap going first or second. I'm glad they put Evenly Matched in, because it needed another reprint, but I don't actually feel the card's that good in the main deck. It's good, but I'd probably side it. So 3 Imperm, so it just negates a monster, and then if it was set, then it negates the rest of the cards in the column for that turn. So also, if you control no cards, you can play it from hand. Is the why it's a hand trap. And then lastly, I don't know how I feel about this, but I am playing 3-dimensional barrier. It hits us, but it doesn't hit us, because you could just flip it once you've used your XYZs, for example, or if you're in a position where they're going to summon like some ridiculous rank 7, you just flip this. Your guys are negated, but the best cards are your trap holes and your link monsters anyway, so it can obviously lock out Kashtira, can lock out Sword Soul, lock out Branded especially, so I still like it because it is searchable off the Lady Labyrinth. So 3 copies, that's it for the main deck. And for the extra deck, got 3 copies of Traptrix Sarah. I still like playing it at 3 because you can burn through these quite quickly, especially having such low attack. Basically has 2 effects. So if you activate a normal trap card, you can summon a Traptrix monster from the deck, and then if you activate a Traptrix monster effect, you can set a whole normal trap card. So this can always summon out Mamelio, which always activates to then trigger the setting of a hole, or you could summon, like for example a Diana if you had something to bring back, like a Halter set. So really, really good card. One copy of Coolaria. I like this a lot. The main effect is that it resets your trap holes rather than going to grave, but I'm just going to read it just in case. So, unaffected by trap effects, all the extra deck monsters are. The XYZs need to have a material to be unaffected by trap effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Traptrix Coolaria once per turn. After you activate a whole normal trap card, you can set it instead of sending it to the graveyard. During your end phase, you can target one Traptrix monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. So that was it. You need to get to summon in defense as well. And the D barrier doesn't actually prevent your stuff because they're not negated because they're unaffected by trap effects. Sorry, I just realised that. Got one Traptrix Atopus. This is new as well, so I'm just going to read this. It's a shame it's not a quick effect to negate, but I mean, let's just read it. So, 2 monsters, including an insect or plant monster. This link summon card is unaffected by trap effects. All Traptrix monsters you control gain 1000 attack while you have a normal trap in your graveyard. Once per turn, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of insect and plant monsters you control, negate their effects until the end of this turn, then you can apply this effect. Banish one normal trap from your graveyard, and if you do, destroy one of those targeted face-up cards. So it can just blank your opponent's board, basically. You just go negate these 3, and then you can pick it apart, so really good. One access code, because this card is insane. Obviously you can climb quite easily, got lots of different link monsters. Every now and then you just summon this, win. That's the idea. It's a shame you don't have different attributes for it, so you'll only get 1-2 destructions if you banish it itself from field, but it's still worth playing, I feel. Got 2 copies of the new Traptrix Pinkulia. With all the new ones, I'm just going to read them to you because there's quite a lot of text to them all. So, just 2 level 4 monsters. It's got 2500 attack. While this card has a material, it's unaffected by trap effects and the activated effects of other monsters with the same type as this card's material. So, it's probably going to be unaffected by insects and plants, let's be honest. You can only use each of the following effects of Traptrix Pinkulia once per turn. You can detach a material from this card, add a Traptrix monster from deck to hand. If a monster owned by your opponent is sent to the graveyard or banished by an effect, except during the damage step, you can attach one of those monsters to this card as material. So it just sort of steals your opponent's guys when they get sent, from trap hole cards, basically. One Traptrix Rafflesia. This card is way better than I remember. So, unaffected by traps or as material. Monsters you control except Rafflesia can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Your opponent can't target Traptrix monsters you control except Rafflesia, so it's a lightning rod for everything. And then once per turn, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card, send a whole normal trap that meets its activation conditions from your deck to the graveyard. This effect becomes that trap card's effect when that card is activated. So what it means is, for example, they Nibiru you can detach, send the Gravediggers that stops hand traps, and then they'll just take 2k. So really, really good. Protects all of you guys from destruction and targeting and battle. So really cool. One Traptrix Alameris. This one's okay, I only play the 1. But so 2+ level 4 monsters, and it's unaffected by trap effects while it has material. You can detach 2 materials from this card, special summon a level 4 insect or plant from grave. If an opponent's monster leaves the field because of your card effect and is now in the graveyard or banished except during the damage step, you can detach 1 material from this card, target one of them, and summon it to your field. So it just steals a guy, basically. It's kind of cool, I do like it. And then for some general XYZs, we've got an Abyss Dweller, just a rank 4 you can make sure you don't lock yourself out with Arachnocamper. One Baguska, you could probably play 2 because you don't want to get it ripped off the Diablosis. Really, really good card. So just summon it in defense, basically skips 2 turns ideally. One Exciton Knight, just really good for clearing boards if you are going second, because they'll have more cards than you, including what you have in hand. So then you just summon Exciton, blow up the board, really evens the game state. It is once per chain, not once per turn. And then lastly, 2 copies of Zeus. You have to play 2 because of the Kashtira matchup. Generally, you'd probably play this differently if you were designing it to face Cash, but I just like to play this because there is just about room for it. So just one of your Xyz battles, and then you can just summon Zeus main phase 2, nuke the board. So I really like this deck. The new support is so good. So I've not done a side deck, I've not played it yet at an event. So please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.